Hi, this is Jesse with Closing the Loop. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about composting toilets. Um, where I left off was about feeding the plants and using my urine, and I just kind of wanted to use a little more reasoning on that. A lot of times people will pee and poo in the same. That's what we're used to. We pee and poo in the same hole, if you will, and we flush it all away. When it comes to composting toilets, the reason another reason, just reasoning on things that you might not want to pee and poo is pee and poo are very different from each other, and nature teaches us that. When you look at the way our bodies are designed, we have a pee hole. Every time we go pee, we don't necessarily have to poo. Every time we poo, we don't necessarily have to pee. So there's a timing thing involved there. There's also compositionally they're different, and they react very differently in the soil. Urine, when you urinate on the soil, it doesn't have a smell. It doesn't have a smell at all. Poop is a little different. When you poop on the ground, it does have a smell, and it tends to stay around for a longer period of time. If you've ever gone camping, if you've ever had to go to the bathroom in the woods, you'll notice that your urine falls in one place and your poo falls in another place. They rarely mix in nature. When things are done naturally, they rarely mix. And so the same thing, if you're going to use a composting toilet, you don't want to pee and poo in the same bucket. I separate my pee and I use that as a fertilizer. The soil uses it up immediately, and then poo is just slow release. It takes a while for the plants to directly benefit from poo. Really, what you're feeding when you lay feces on the ground, really what you're feeding is the bacterial colonies that are in the soil. There's a lot of different things that are done. Obviously, when you poo, and if you don't bury it, you should bury it. That's kind of like nature teaches you that. You don't want to invite a bunch of creatures into an area that are going to spread disease around. The bacteria in the soil, they feed off of the bacteria that's inside of your feces, and that's something that a lot of people don't know, and something that they don't really think about or reason on. There are lesser bacteria. There are some that we might consider bad bacteria, quote unquote bad, and then you have the beneficial bacteria, and there's this constant, thing that happens in the ground, and we don't see that battle, but there is a battle going on, and good bacteria need other bacteria to be able to feed off of, and bacteria do feed off of sugars. They feed off of the sugars that are produced, the carbohydrates that are produced by the plant, and so there's an interaction that happens between the plant and the bacteria. There's an interaction that happens between the bacteria and the fungi in the ground too. They're all working together, and what humans do and what animals do is they kind of feed that whole process. If you don't have animals, you definitely want to be introducing some kind of manure onto your soil, because it's going to directly feed the bacteria. The bacteria are working along with your plants. The bacteria are doing so many different things, and the plants absolutely need them. Plants, bacteria, fungi, all working together in the soils, breaking down the soils, getting minerals out of the soil that the plant needs. Just simple things, Understanding what urine does, understanding what feces does, and seeing them as a resource, and getting rid of that that ick feeling about it.